Hi, welcome back to Comicbook Gallery. I'm your host, Joaquin. Today's episode is a continuation of a series I'm doing called The Uncanny X Men. So this is number 190 through 199. A quick note, I recently traded my friend Sean for $120 worth of comic books for $120 worth of Magic the Gathering. And the books I received were 180 through 189 and then 190 through 199. And the first appearance of Dazzler, and I picked up a few Dazzler issues of her solo series that I thought were interesting covers to show you guys. So all in all, I think it was a good trade on both sides. So now on with the show. So X-Men 190, An Age Undreamed Of. This is like a trippy episode issue where you have this wizard who transforms part of Manhattan and he separates it from the rest of the world. And it just turns into kind of like this fantasy Mad Max style world. As you see, show a few more. So Caliban and Professor X are merged. And the Avengers and Spider-Man make an appearance on this. And the Avengers are like, the next episode it says Raiders of the Lost Temple. So next up is 191. Which is a continuation of it. Oops. Now open up and show you that. This is also the first appearance of Nimrod here. So the conclusion of the story. So you have Spider-Man here being, I think they're going to use him for a sacrifice. And like I said, this was a trip. When I went back and I was reading through this, I was like, whoa. But here is the first appearance of Nimrod. And he's like a futuristic Sentinel that comes back, but he's like the ultimate Sentinel. So this is his first appearance. So if you're looking for first appearance that maybe one day they'll do a movie about him or have him in there instead of just the Sentinels, there you go. Now you know. So now we get to 192. This is, oh man, I want to say this is, okay, so it has to deal with Warlock, but I think it's his father, Magnus. So the X-Men are dealing with him in this issue. This is a cool techno kind of cover. I'll show you a few pages in there. Nothing too significant about this book. You could probably find this in most dollar bins, but the average price of this book is like $2 to $3. But every now and then, you never know. So, Fun and Games. Name of this issue. Cool. Colossus. And right here, they're kind of having a... they don't have a danger room, so they're practicing games and stuff. And here's where they encounter the... and there's Rachel. So Rachel Summers, during these issues, she starts having flashbacks of her going back in time. And so there's the future Kitty Pryde. There's, these are good reads. And here he is, a Magnus. He comes down. X-Men have to deal with him. And Colossus deals with it with a wham. And I want to say that the conclusion... Oh, so Professor X, I believe, gets assaulted or is about to be assaulted because he sees the mutant die. So he's like a guest lecturer, and he realizes that all these people are want to do him harm, so he stops them. But one of them he doesn't see, and so they throw a brick at him, and then they give him a beatdown. And now, which leads us to 193, which is a double size issue. Show you this. And at the bottom it says a gala 100th anniversary issue of all new, all different X Men. So this nice little fight scene going on here. Double size. The value on this book is anywhere between $3 and $5. Again, these are books that you can easily pick up. And at this issue, they're dealing with Professor X being attacked. I'll show you some scenes through here. This is... So you have Thunderbird, brother, whose name is Warpath. And he blames the X-Men because he's getting into a fight with Banshee for the loss of his brother. And Banshee was one of the second team members. When they did the second team, it was like Banshee, Thunderbird, Storm, Wolverine, Colossus, and Nightcrawler to go save the X-Men. So his brother died, and he didn't like that. At this point, Banshee thinks that he's seeing Thunderbird, and he's like, "You can't be, I saw you die." And he's like, "Then I'm a ghost." And Calistro right here, she saves Charles Xavier, and the healer is able to help him. And if you've ever wanted to see Charles Xavier the punk rocker, there you go, people. You've seen it here first, the Comicbook Gallery. So Charles is now coming down here and finding out more about the Morlocks. And Firestar makes an appearance. They brought in a lot of people on this because of the double-size issue. You have some of the new mutants in here, and they're playing a game of tag with Cannonball. And they're in the danger room. So they're always, every 2 or 3 episodes, if they're at the mansion, that you like to include a danger zone. So Charles Xavier here is finally recovering at the school and resting. And at one point, I know that Thunderbird makes an assault. Here we go. Thunderbird gets the X-Men to come to his location. And they ambush him, and he got some help with these 2 twins that are up here. And so they're able to knock out the professor, as you can see. And they're dealing with what's going on over here. And I'm only going to show you one more thing right here. So, and I'm not going to show you the conclusion of this because you should read this book. So Banshee's here, right? He was the bait. And they're about to deal with that when Wolverine notices or picks up Warpath's scent. But he recognizes the scent's familiar to him. He's like, "You're good, boy. Maybe even better than your brother, but I'm the best." Because, Wolverine's the best there is. And they start fighting, which is a good scene. And I liked how they scripted this leading up to it. And Shadowcat's just trying to get Banshee to safety. And I'm going to leave it there. If you want to find out what happened in this book, then you're going to have to go buy it or buy the trade paperback. But up to this point, the stories are just, all comic book stories are just nonstop. They catch a break for a moment and then something goes down. But what I did like about this story was that you had Warpath dealing with the death of his brother and just coming back and blaming the X-Men. And it was a good story. So, double-sized X-Men. first appearance of Firestarter. And she's first appearance of Firestarter in the X Men book. So, next up, hold on, I gotta answer the door. Sorry about that little pause. One of my duties here at PFC Games is that while the store is closed, I record here, but I have to answer the door to collect packages for him for UPS. So, I believe we are back to now 194. And as you can see, Nimrod has finally caught up to the X-Men. And this one, I'm going to show you some images because I think they're cool, and to show you what's going on and how bad what Nimrod can do. And he's like one of the first Sentinels to make like seconds adjustments, like you saw in the movie where they had of Days of Future Past. So the Juggernaut's back. So, as you can see, they have a nice big splash page. The Juggernaut's back in town. So it shows little highlights of him being able to take on the X-Men, Spider-Man, the Hulk. Because this cop's like, haven't you heard? The Juggernaut's back in town, you know, because he's asking what's going on. And sorry about that. Trying to get to the point where things go down. Okay, so here we go. So Nimrod comes in. He lets everybody know that he's here because he's tracking down mutants. He considers them criminals, and it's his duty to deal with them. And who does he find? He finds the Juggernaut and Rachel Summers and Kitty Pryde, I want to say. So he's just blasting, and he's now finding out that he can't really deal with the Juggernaut. So the Juggernaut puts on his helmet, and they start going at it, and Kitty's like, well, we're out of here. There's no point. Let's just, get some people out while we can. And Nimrod's just trying to do as much as he can to him and try to make adjustments, but realizes that he can't hurt him yet. So what he does is he knocks him out. Well, not knocks him out, but knocks him into a construction zone. And the Juggernaut's going to try to use that iron beam to destroy him. And Nimrod wants no part of that. It tries to bring a building down on him. And we all know that that's not going to stop the Juggernaut. So the X-Men appear. At one point, as you can see, they knock off his... Nimrod determines that his weakness is his helmet. So he knocks that off. And he hits him with a psychic ultra-high frequent sonic sounds to deal with the Juggernaut. Kitty is used to being able to phase through machines and disrupt them, but not for Nimrod. And Rogue gets an idea that if she touches all the X-Men, she will be able to deal with him. And I'll leave it at that. So if you want to know the conclusion, you should pick up that book. Next picture is Wolverine and his new daycare service. So if you have little kids, leave them with Wolverine. He promises to take really good care of them. So, in the 80s, a group that was somewhat popular for a brief moment was called the Power Pack Kids. And these children had powers, and, they would pop up every now and then here and there, but they didn't last that long. Let me find a couple of panels I should show you. The whole point of me recording like this was so I could open up these books and show you things. So the Power Kids wake up. They find out their parents don't remember them. So they seek out the help of the X-Men. But here they are in their full glory. Look at that. They discover the X-Men and they let them know that they need help. So the X-Men take them in. I just thought I don't know why they made this cover of Wolverine about to shake this little girl. I mean, it works in a sense of it's interesting to make you pick up the book and be like, I need to read this. Wolverine lost his mind. So they end up back with some Morlocks. And their faces have been altered by Mystique. And so a fight breaks out. And it turns out that one of the Morlocks there, Annie, she wanted to adopt the Power Pack children as her own. And that's why, they kidnapped her. So you got Rogue here. And she, Leech goes and grabs onto her. But both their powers counteract each other. Because she stops her mutant ability. And when she touched her skin, she absorbed his, so he knocked himself out. And they're like, nice, you zapped the runt skirt. We'll finish the job permanent. He's one of your own. He was a plain nobody. Can't read. He was a pain. Nobody will weep for him. Besides, we're going to blame you. So as you can see, Leech is not that popular among the other Morlocks because when he's around, they can't use their powers anymore. And we'll leave it at that. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'll tell you a little bit about the book. If you like what you see, then, you got to pick the book up and read it yourself. Hopefully that's enough to get you interested in picking up the book. And if you want me to continue to do it that way or just hear me just break down the entire thing, which I really don't want to do, people, leave that down in the comments below because I like to leave some mystery for you to go and want to actually read the book. So 196 here is Secret Wars Part 2. So the Beyonder comes down to Earth and he's like secretly following people. And he's secretly following the X-Men. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go in anymore. Won't show you any spoilers. The book is not worth that much. Click to see what the value of it. Even if you had like a raw 9.90, this book's like $4 or $5. 197. Are they facing Dr. Doom in this issue? I mean, the cover says so. Excuse me. Now, Shadowcat and Colossus are kidnapped by Arcade, who tells them that Dr. Doom intends to kill them. He blackmails them into defeating him and along replaces the other X-Men to fight Doom forces all over Murder World. This is like a rehash of a story they did back when they first introduced Arcade. So, this story was okay. I just remember it just being like a little bit of a knockoff of what they had done. Nimrod is also in here. And Oral took a little hiatus from the group and she's in an Africa desert. Which comes to X-Men 198, Life and Death, Part 2. I thought this was a cool cover. I mean, it has more of like a watercolor feel to it, dreamlike state, but I think that's what I liked about it. So she's in Africa, and she's still dealing with the fact that she's lost her powers. And I want to say at one point she starts to regain them a little bit. Or you have the feeling that she is. We'll leave it at that. And because this video is getting over 20 minutes, I'm going to end it with 199. So it's a great Rachel Summers cover. Sorry about that. And this is also the first appearance of Freedom Force, which was the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants had made a deal with the government to start working for them, and they're cleared of all their past crimes. So this is also the first appearance of Rachel Summers as Phoenix. Excuse me. Hence the title Born Again. There was some speculation on this book. And at one point, I don't know if people thought that either Rachel Summers was going to make an appearance somewhere or Freedom Force, but this book shot up to about 10 to 20 bucks it was going for, just for a brief moment. Some rumor came out, somebody said something, everybody bought into it. But now this book averages anywhere between $5 and $10, depending on condition, but you can get this for $5 and under, and I'm talking near mint. So that'll do it, people. I hope you enjoyed watching this run and are enjoyed this series of collecting X Men 190 to 199. This is a book that I don't even want to talk about in the sense of what's going on in the book, because you should read this book. It has a lot of information about Rachel Summers and her relationships, and they're dealing with the fact that Jean is dead, but she's still here because she traveled back from the future. So a lot of things are going on. Well, I'm over 20 minutes, and that's where I want to keep these videos. Hope you enjoyed what you've been watching. Hit the like button. If you're new, hello, hit the subscribe button. And leave a comment below what issues that you've enjoyed, or what are you trying to collect as far as like runs go. It doesn't have to be X-Men. And on that note, take care, people, and you have a good week.